Welcome to Look Local. I'm Karen Adams. This is the place where we celebrate the best and the brightest, featuring businesses in North Florida and South Georgia. We do that by reminding you if you're looking for something to do or for someone to help, it is always better to look local. First Coast Heart and Vascular Center will be here to discuss a life-saving device that's available right here in Jacksonville. Moose Haven, a retirement community in Orange Park, offering multiple levels of care. And 904thin.com, helping you to lose weight and get healthy at the same time. I'm with Dr. Neil Sunvey today, who is with First Coast Heart and Vascular Center. Thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having us.
You know, we're talking about a very important topic, and we're going to get into that. But first and foremost, tell us what the difference between a heart attack and an SCA is, and explain the difference.
Sure. So SCA stands for sudden cardiac arrest. And unfortunately, it's the #1 killer in this country. About 450,000 people die each year in the U.S. from sudden cardiac arrest or sudden cardiac death. And what's involved is that the heart electrically disrupts its natural conduction. And so rather than beating in a systemic fashion, it begins to quiver. And when that happens, blood is unable to move to the brain or to the rest of the body. And immediately the body starts shutting down. And unfortunately, if it's not treated correctly or quickly, patients can die.
Okay.
A heart attack, on the other hand, is when we're talking about a blockage in one of the heart arteries and where the heart is not getting the blood flow that it needs through an artery. And so the difference between the two is one is a blockage, which is a mechanical problem, and the other is an electrical disruption that causes death to occur.
Okay, so the electrical disruption is known as SCA.
Yes.
Okay, now there's a device that is available. I want to show a picture of it, and you can maybe tell people at home what we're looking at.
Sure.
And how this may help to rectify the situation.
Indeed. So patients who are at highest risk for sudden cardiac death, there are a number of different ones that are out there. There's patients who may have had a former heart attack, actually, and as a result, their heart muscle has weakened and is more prone to having these electrical disturbances. Or they may have, unfortunately, developed a weakening of their heart muscle. And the defibrillator that was pictured is a device that's capable of monitoring the heart 24/7. And it's watching each and every heartbeat. And what this device does is if it recognizes a problem with the heart, it will identify it and then treat it by shocking the heart back into normal. And it's been proven to save people's lives.
Wow. Okay, so let's see how this device actually works then inside of someone's chest.
Sure. So the way this actually gets implanted is there's two different types of devices that are out there.
Okay.
Traditionally, there was what we called a standard ICD or defibrillator, and it was implanted right up here on the upper chest. And it had a number of wires that went into a blood vessel that then transversed and went into the heart itself. And this device works well and is still implanted today. The issue, though, is that this device has a couple of problem points. One, you have wires that are inside of your heart. So you have foreign material inside of your body, and that puts you at risk for infections, okay? The second is that these wires are sitting in blood vessels. Well, blood vessels have only a certain size, and if you have too many wires, it can clog up the vessel and you could have clots. And the third is that this wire is sitting inside of a beating heart. It's constantly being flexed. So sometimes you get failure of the wire because it breaks. And so our systems that we've had for many years have had these problems where the wires could become an issue for the patient. So more recently, a company by Boston Scientific has released a device, and we'll see it pictured here in a moment, that sits entirely outside of the heart. It offers the same protection against sudden cardiac arrest as a traditional defibrillator. But what we see here is towards the left breast tissue, there's the device, and it's sitting underneath the skin, but outside of the chest wall.
Okay.
And there's a wire that's tunneled underneath the skin that overlays the heart, but does not sit within the heart, all underneath the skin.
Is this underneath the muscle or underneath the fat?
Underneath the fat, above the muscle.
Okay.
Okay, and so what this allows is no longer do you have a wire that's in a bloodstream, so no concerns of major infection that could affect the heart. No longer do you have a wire that's being constantly flexed by the heart. It's sitting right on the chest plate. The chest plate doesn't flex, so it sits there, it doesn't get fatigued. And no longer do you have anything in a blood vessel where you're worried about clogs or blockages developing because you have too many wires. So you have the same protection that a defibrillator can offer in a traditional sense, the one that was implanted in the upper chest, but without any of the concerns that we just talked about.
This seems like a much more stable way to go about getting help and, you know, protecting yourself from something like this, especially, like you say, if someone has had a heart attack before.
Indeed. And I mean, and I think you use some keywords there, protecting yourself. The way I like to talk about defibrillators is, the analogy I use is driving a car. We all have airbags in our cars. We don't want them to deploy. We want to be as safe as we can, but they're there for protection. That's what these defibrillators are there for. There's people who are at risk, people who have had heart attacks, people who have a weak heart muscle, or some people who have genetic predispositions to having these problems. And these are the people who need to be protected.
Okay. Now, this has actually saved someone's life, and we want to share with you the actual EKG, or a picture of it.
That's right.
And if you could take us through from the top of what we're seeing up into the bottom, including the big black mark that's about 3/4 of the way down. This is really important.
Indeed. This is why we do what we do. This is a patient of mine who recently was implanted, and his history is that he actually had a weakened heart muscle, and we discovered this, and we treated him with medications, and we said, listen, we need to protect you. And we didn't know if this was going to go off or not. What we see on the top frame, the first series of blocks, you'll see a series of lines that are pretty steady, the first 4 lines, if you will. And that is the natural heartbeat. And then you see an irregularity develop. And that irregularity is the bottom main pump of the heart going into what we call ventricular fibrillation, which is a form of sudden cardiac arrest. That carries on for several seconds, and then 4 frames down, you'll see on the right side the big black lightning bolt. That's when the device said, listen, I've watched this long enough, I need to save this person's life, and it delivered a shock. And then immediately after that, you start noticing a regulation of the heartbeat once again, and that patient survived this event.
Wow.
And in actuality, he was sleeping. He did not know. He woke to the shock, and he woke up and he called me and said, I think my device just went off. And had he not had this device, he wouldn't have woken up. That's what's amazing about this device.
It saved his life.
It saved his life.
And it was the necessary shock to get everything started again.
That's exactly right.
Unbelievable.
Indeed.
So this is something that they wear 24/7 when they sleep, when they...
This is there watching them all the time. It is the doctor in the room when the doctor can't be there.
Okay. All right. And now I want to put up the website and explain if anybody has any questions for any closing statements. This is so interesting. What should they do, doctor?
Well, I think if they have any questions or concerns, please give us a call at our office. We're happy to see them. We can evaluate them and determine are they at risk, if they have any issues, and we can either reassure them that everything's okay or direct them forward. They can come to our website or call the phone number that's listed below.
All right. Dr. Neil Sungvi, thank you so much for giving us this valuable information and quite possibly life-saving information as well.
Well, thank you for having me again.
You bet.
Moose Haven Retirement Community in Orange Park is a one-of-a-kind facility. You're going to hear from them next.